Let's review the level 1 circle strafe stab before we start. When the opponent is strafing towards or away from you, they use the A or D keys. When you hold A or D in the direction they're going to stab them, that's called a circle strafe stab. Now it's important to note that you aren't really tricking them psychologically like a normal trick stab. It's more like you're out strafing them, and that's the same with every type of circle strafe stab. They're not holding W in the level 1, they're using their mouse to aim, but they're also using their strafe keys in conjunction. This can make them vulnerable because if they run out of mousepad space or if they assume that you'll always be in front of them, they'll naturally turn in a circular strafe which will give you their back, hence the name circle strafe stab. If they're strafing too far ahead of you, you can use leading techniques to give you an easier chance with the stab. If you get close, the subject will naturally backpedal, and that goes for every circle strafe stab. You can always extend the strafe into a backpedal stab, and if you don't know what a backpedal stab is, I will demonstrate it in this episode. Here are more examples on backpedal stabs against those in level 1.
Yo, I just got a fucking slalom.
I also taught you about how melee hit registration is wider, so circle strafe those using melee with caution. Weapons, however, don't have as wide of a hitbox, so it's possible that you can avoid weapon fire and still get the stab. For example, on this pyro here, he missed all of his shots on me and I still got the circle strafe stab on him. I could have been using the bicycle and I still would have gotten the stab just fine. Today, I'll be explaining the second level of strafing and its counter. I'll also teach you how to spot it and the theory behind how to counter it. I'll also teach you the backpedal stab, as it'll be very useful when learning about recovery and other stabs such as the 4th level of circle strafing. The second level. People who only move forwards and backwards using W and S. Usually, people on level 1 will press S to back up and then return to using A and D. These people on level 2 only use W and S, making it hard for you to get close enough for a level 1 stab because they never strafe towards or away by using A/D. They only back up or advance forwards. The theory is that if you go to one side, they will back up and expose their back to the spot where you were not standing. You can run back to their exposed side and get the stab if you move swiftly enough. What does this mean in simpler terms? Just matador them. Remember how I said previously that you could not matador someone using their strafe keys? Well, these people are only using their W and S keys, so they'll fall for the matador just fine. You want to get shallow strafes, and you want to time these strafes so that you get the stab on these people as they're walking towards you or just starting to back off from you. It's very easy to spot these people. Most commonly you will see medics using their Ubersaw or Demo Knights attacking in this fashion. They move forwards and then back up after attacking. Please remember that this is still a type of circle strafe stab, so if you fail, it is possible to recover with a backpedal stab. Now let me test you. Which player is using strafe level 2 maneuvers and which player is not? The engineer takes a swing moving forwards and then moves back. It doesn't seem like he's using his strafe keys much at all. The heavy isn't attacking then moving backwards. It just seems like he's holding W the whole time. So, we can conclude that the engineer is moving in level 2 and the heavy is going to fall for a normal matador, not a circle strafe stab level 2. The engineer moves forwards to make another swing but misses, and as he's beginning to move backwards, I get him with my swift matador-like movements. Note how easy it is for me to transition into a backpedal stab if I were to have missed my initial stab. Let me briefly explain the backpedal stab. You have to walk until you meet the enemy's side, then turn to face the direction they're facing in. You want to strafe into them so they cannot run away that easily. Hold S to backpedal, then click to get the stab. Also, make sure you don't stab blindly, and actually look at the enemy's back to get the stab. You want to be careful when you're trying to backpedal a spy, for whatever reason, because you could end up being backstabbed yourself. It's a very risky thing and I do not recommend trying to backpedal stab a spy, or trying to stab any spy. Just use your gun. If you miss your first stab when backpedaling, it's fine to just continue backpedaling, and you can try to get for a second, or even a third stab. Hell, you could try as much as you want as long as the enemy doesn't break away from your side somehow. To summarize this whole video, those on level 2 only use their W and S keys, and those on level 2 back up from where they think you are so they leave their other side exposed. The motion to counter them is very similar to a matador, but you want to make sure you make swift motions and time your stabs so you stab them when they're walking towards you or just starting to walk away. You can tell someone on level 2 from a normal matador player, and you know how to backpedal stab and when you should use it against level 1s and 2s. You also know that backpedal stabs can be retried if failed as long as the enemy hasn't broken away. Also, quote-unquote trick stab battles against spies is not safe. The gun is more reliable. And also subscribe to Pewds. The next episode will be on level 3s. See you there.